It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, take me higher. You take me higher, baby, take me higher. You take me higher, baby, take me higher. Yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Saturday Night Vibe, the Progressive News Show with Let's Be S3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Anna Hart. On today's show, I do not have a one-story video. I just could not find anything. But I'm not going to let anybody down. We just have 3 separate videos. Basically, we're just going back to the good old days. And that's how we used to do it. Just have videos and we would just talk about it and go on and stuff like that, including one video that is a blast from the past. We have done this video before. We're just going to see if our differences have changed, although I doubt it. Also, in the second hour, we are nearly packed. We do have a Am I the A-hole? We do have a positive story of the week. We do have a Mafia video of the week. And, of course, Foxy's video of the week. I'm going to tell you right now, the first 2 videos, the Am I the A-hole and positive story of the week, please go get your tissues. You are going to need it. One of the tissues is going to be used because you're going to be just that outraged. And the positive story is just that darn good. Trying to keep the first hour clean. Also, one other thing. The Mafia video of the week, do not blame me at all for it, other than to say I agreed to show that. Tracy picked the Mafia video of the week, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Y'all take it from there. Now, as y'all can see, and I'm going to go check real quick. Just real quick. Yep. As you can see, I am absolutely clear on the video. As you can see, there are no glitches. Why is that? Because the internet is now fixed. The internet is fixed, and this is the bad part. It could have been fixed months ago. Why is that? It's because I thought it was from the computer. I cleaned the computer. I took the computer apart and cleaned every part of the computer. I checked the cords all the way up to the computer because I have it hardwired in. Where was the problem then? It wasn't the wire going into the computer. It was that the wire wasn't in the router. I had a different plug in there that I thought all along that was it. So to paint you a picture, I got a wire going all the way from upstairs where I'm at into my computer, all the way downstairs into the router.
Okay.
What the issue was, when I looked back in the router, there was a wire plugged into where it's supposed to be, into one of the ports. So I was like, okay, that ain't it. So I was like, let me pull on the plug and see if it just keeps coming loose or something. So I pull it on the plug, but the line going up wasn't moving. So I went, wait a minute, what is going on? So I just pulled the whole thing. That thing wasn't connected to nothing.
See, I
They're just hanging
I
there.
wouldn't even told nobody. I just would have said I fixed it.
No.
I just would have said I fixed it. That no.
That wire has just been dangling. It had a rubber band around it. Like, this is a new one. So I picked up the real one and plugged it in, and lo and behold, clear as all daylights. So that was my day. Rebooted the computer.
Congratulations on finding what was wrong.
Congrats on troubleshooting the error. Now we see why tech support always says to us, well, sir, did you make sure everything's plugged in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. So, how's everything going, Theas?
Everything's cool. My little project today, I changed the shower head in one of the bathrooms, and then I took a random piece of wood that I have, and I went into the garage and just practiced cutting things up and drilling holes and realizing I need more toys. So I bought some more toys, and they should be delivered so I can continue making noise and tearing things up in the garage.
Fun.
Anna?
Well, I had a really quiet day compared to that. I slept, and if you remember from last week, my sleeping has been kind of weird, so I caught up on some sleep. And then I had a nap. And not much going on today. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. There are days when you doing nothing is actually a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
especially on the weekend when it's just like it is such a good feeling when you could tell somebody I don't have anything for the weekend, because what you don't want to happen, and we have said it on this show many of the times, it feels like I didn't even have a weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, just sometimes just fine.
I listened to an audiobook. That's what I did.
That sounds good. Pulling out for the Kentucky football. We lost 31-6 today to South Carolina. Pretty bad when your team can't even score one touchdown. LOL. Hey, Parker. Also,
Hey,
Parker, are you in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why did I? Okay.
He was in Kentucky?
I for some reason thought he was
I don't
Tennessee.
ever think anybody is in Kentucky. Let's just go ahead and be real. So it didn't even occur to me that my man was in Kentucky.
Yeah. Also, one of the most overrated college teams in America lost today by 1 point. Notre Dame lost by 1 point to Northwestern, a team that is unranked. So, yay.
Man, they're just kids playing football.
Yeah, whatever.
Actually, I want football to go away. But anyway,
I know.
they're just kids playing football. I ain't going to be too hard on them.
Hello, do you know what Thursday was? Do you know that Sunday is? The NFL is back.
Yeah, congrats to those who care about NFL football.
It just gives me some great background noise. Oh, Northern Illinois. I'm sorry. Northern Illinois beat.
Oh, okay. I
That
thought
don't
you were
even
in
sound like that. That don't even sound like that should be like a competitive school. That sounds like it should be a junior college somewhere.
Well, it's a college.
Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois.
All right. Without further ado, let's get this party
No
started.
offense to the Northern Illinois people.
And it only took me 4 years to get the timing down between Theus' talking and me starting the show. But I got it now, buddy. I got it now.
What you talking about?
I gotta time you when you're talking and playing the video and stuff like that. I got to time it. Because you funny. I gotta let the humor go through, but I got to time it correctly. So yeah, I got it now. I got it down pat. The first story coming up right now, it starts off, and it is a am I the a-hole type story. It starts off you're thinking one way, but it don't end the way you think it is. So my explanations of videos really sucks. So let's go ahead and just play the video.
I don't know how to feel about this. My wife is 8 months pregnant, and last night we went to a restaurant with our daughter that was surprisingly crowded for a weeknight. We were waiting for our table when my wife grabbed my arm and said, "That woman over there keeps staring at us." I told her not to think too much about it, as she has a tendency to point out creepy people a lot. We got to our table, and while we were waiting for our food, the woman she pointed to came up to us and asked if she could touch my wife's belly. My wife said, "I'd rather you not," but the woman did it anyway, and my wife stood up. The woman looked at our daughter and said, "What a beautiful little girl," and tried to pick her up by the armpits. My wife then pushed the woman back and punched her in the face. I took my wife's arm, got my daughter, and we got out of there. I asked my wife why she did that, and she said, "Are you kidding? A complete stranger tried to pick up our daughter." I told her she overreacted and that such force was not necessary. I had some reservations about letting her go out in public while pregnant, but I don't really think I can at all now, not if she's going to act like this. Yo, I thought the punching would be the bad part of this post. I don't really know what to do. She still seems to think that she did nothing wrong. I've never acted like this in public, and neither has she. The fact that she likely traumatized our daughter by displaying such violence in front of her is something that's making me look at her slightly differently. What should I say to her?
Man, please. Your wife reacted to stranger danger.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know about punching somebody in the face because all the stuff that come with it, but you darn Skippy, that wouldn't have been no smooth event. First of all, you've already assaulted me because you touched my belly, and I told you I'd rather you not. I was being polite. That was a polite no. No means no. Then you had the audacity to try to touch my child. Yeah, okay.
Try to pick her up. You know, no. Yeah. And him reacting, I'm seeing a whole new side of my life. You're seeing her protect her family.
He's more concerned about appearances.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, it becomes an interesting conversation when we start to delineate that defending yourself, your family, is not acting in violence. It's responding to violence.
Yep.
What that woman did, coming up, wrong. She was so wrong, and I'm really puzzled about this husband. I
I've
don't think the
lowered
daughter
my.
is going to be.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry.
The daughter was small enough to be picked up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying
Probably
I don't
around
know.
2.
I'm just not sure that the daughter would be traumatized by this. Like, it seems like he was.
He's pulling stuff out of his butt to be upset about.
Yeah. I have a pretty low bar for my outrage meter for Reddit people. I don't have a very high estimation of you guys. Just gonna put that out there. But yeah, he needs to calm that one down. I can understand like he feels a little embarrassed because he might not have thought it was that big a deal in the moment, right? We don't know.
Right.
The lady might have just seemed like a kooky lady, but not like a threat.
Mhm.
But the lady was out of line on two levels. You just need to back your wife's play, and that's all there is to it.
Well, two and a half, to be honest with you, because let's go back to the very beginning.
Well, the staring, man, you gotta let that
The
go.
wife was
people
saying, "This woman is staring at us." Now I can see if you're looking in that direction. We've all done it when we accidentally, got contact with somebody looking at us the way we're looking at them, but we're not looking. But you know the difference between, we just accidentally look past each other. You turn your head or you look the other way, whatever. That's a whole lot different from this woman is staring at us. As in, from the time we sat down, she has not taken her eyes off of us. That escalated to, okay, now I'm going to come over here and ask you the most random question that always ends up with no. Can I touch your pregnant belly? Then the wife firmly said no. I mean, off-putting, I'd rather you not, but I guess if we got to start saying absolutely not, okay, you're just using
Then
that.
her husband would say that she was rude.
Yeah. Then we went to, and here's the part where, dude, you need to back your wife. Then she goes, oh, how pretty, and try to pick up your child. Now, would it have been a punch? I don't know. Would I have pushed the living crap out of you to the point where you falling over tables and chairs? Absolutely. Because I am trying to separate my children from what I perceive as a dangerous situation right now.
Yeah.
And the only thing, husband, that you did correctly was you got everybody out of that area. But you did not get them out of the area because you thought it was dangerous. You got them out of the area because you was embarrassed. And what is this going to teach your child? It's going to show your child about body autonomy. No one has the right to be putting their hands on you because they think you cute, or you got nice hair, or wow, you got smooth skin, or a simple fact of you a woman / you a man. That is what it is teaching your child, that nobody has any rights over their body but them. That is what is teaching your child. Just like we had to go through that. Go kiss your uncle. Go kiss your aunt. I don't want to. Oh, we're family. No, still don't want to. It should be made to. So, dude, I don't know what your issue is. Maybe it's a small underline, and I'm not saying that it is, because I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Maybe it's a small underline that, holy crap, maybe this was something I should have done, but I didn't. My wife was the one to protect it. I don't know. I mean, that's me stretching my brain to do something, to think that way, because I'm just not sure. I have no idea what you're talking about. And obviously, y'all need to sit down and discuss it. Like, hey, that woman was out of line, and I don't have time to be holding a discussion with another grown person about not touching me and then decide to go touch our daughter.
Within seconds, that could have turned around to be a child abduction. She did not know.
No, no, you don't.
I think
And
she
would that be
reacted.
overreacting if she called the police? Hey, she just took my child. I think it was overreacting to call them. What are you doing, dude?
No.
I, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna put this in the I want to divorce him type stage of things, but
No.
bruh, I'm telling you now, we are going to be having a discussion about this when we get home, and discussion is going to be fully based on I do not want this to ever happen again. But if it do, you need to stand up and to be the protector of this family. That
That
is
might not
your
be his role.
Right.
then fine. Then I don't want to hear your mouth afterwards when I am, when the woman is. You either you are or you not. If you're not going to be the protector, cool
I'm
beans.
doing I'm
But when the
doing
woman
I'm
be the
doing
protector, you need to back her.
I'm doing devil's advocate just a little bit because actually I agree with you, bro. But because this is the world that we're in, and we're trying to be understanding of all these different flavors and ways that people do things, he may not be wired as a protector, even though he should be because it's his kid. But he may have a different bar that has to be met before he like leaps into some form of action, and he just wasn't there yet. But you were saying, okay, if you're not the protector, then you need to be quiet and just follow the lead. But I'm like, okay, here's where, and I agree with you generally because it's how I roll for the most part. But I would never want to have an environment that just because I'm the protector, my wife thinks she need to be quiet.
Yeah.
So, she's my mediating force, right? So yeah, I'm the one that's gonna be the protector, but she's the one that's gonna be like, look, you were out of line. uh you overreacted. Maybe you should have done it this way. So I'm just saying it, not to come at you, just talking about because we always do on the show, trying to make sure that we're as broad as possible in certain respects. So I'm just saying, if you're not the protector, then that means you were probably going to be more of the nurturer. So you got a role to play too, however you land. But like with this one here, I mean, I don't know if I would have punched him, but that's because I can't relate to being a woman, and I can't relate to being a pregnant woman. So all I can do is look at myself as a man, and it would take a lot for me to punch a woman. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to quite get there, even in the hypothetical. But yeah, you're gonna get pushed. My child's definitely getting snatched. We not doing this.
Okay, so let's just say that this was a man, for sake of discussion. Comes over to you, your pregnant wife, and says, "Can I touch your belly?" What is your response?
The
And
response right there is I step between my wife and this man, and we square up. You
okay,
don't touch my woman.
No.
It's very simple. I don't care what your reason for coming over here. Like, there's a different level of expectation and social norms. Like, a woman touching another woman's pregnant belly is inappropriate, but it's not necessarily viewed as threatening. But a
right.
man touching another woman physically on any level outside of, oh, sorry, excuse me, miss, that's a problem.
That was my point. Like, and
So,
Anna,
that would be my
I'm
difference.
I'm just changing a little bit of what your question is.
Hmm.
My wife wouldn't have to be pregnant. No other man is touching my wife.
Right.
At
Okay.
all.
That territorial, and
Yeah.
and it's what you call it, I don't know what the right term is, but it's one of those negative terms that people like to put on men. But yes, I am very territorial about my woman. That's my woman.
Well, it's control.
Okay, now your child.
My
A
child.
man comes up to pick your child up. You don't know him. Would you
Instant
go to
assault.
violence?
I'm coming at him. I don't care how big he is. Instantly.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab if we in a store that's got like clothing racks, I'm gonna beat you with the clothing rack. I'm just, it's just what it is. Like,
Yeah.
There's different levels to my response, right? The way I'm gonna respond to a threat to my child is gonna be more severe than how I respond to a threat to my wife, and that's gonna be more severe than I'm gonna respond to a threat to myself, right? So there's levels as we travel along.
Is there a part 2? Parker, you may have come in late. None of these stories have a part 2. I could not find a story good enough to.
But I'm sure there are those out there that say that what I just said is toxic masculinity and all that stuff. And it may be. I don't think toxic masculinity is a thing. I'm going to say that right now. No such thing as toxic masculinity. There are toxic people. Okay? What you're doing is toxic. That you're a man, don't attribute that to the entire gender. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop it. We have gotten to the point where just being male is a problem in society. No, being an undisciplined brute is a problem in society.
What is it about people that they feel like they can touch right away? There isn't some kind of trying to talk first, trying to, this immediate, I am entitled to your personal space is troubling.
So
hold on, Piers. What if the guy who threw the steak at the window, would he jump to throw the steak at the woman picking up his kid?
I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
But what you were saying, Anna, and the lines are more blurred. Marlon and I were kind of hitting on this before you came on. Lines are much more blurred between the different cultures and everything. But traditionally, this is a European thing, okay? Because there's something about this sense of entitlement that says that you have the right to touch someone's hair because you think it's neat, or you have the right to touch someone's child or touch someone's person or comment on their vocabulary or comment on their intelligence because you somehow have an entitlement to that whatever I do is non-threatening. I'm just curious. It's a compliment. No, right? But that is like this weird thing. Now it's much more subdued now than it used to be. Like in the 2000s coming forward, as different cultures of like Black people and Latinos have started to assert themselves, you don't run into this that much. You know what I'm saying? But I would imagine if you were more in like a separated area, like I'm in the city. So in the city, we all kind of come up together. Even if we don't interact and we don't like each other too much, we all came up together. So we have understandings of social norms, and we're very much alike, no matter what our color or economics are. We're very much alike. But if you go into like outskirts where communities don't blend, they don't change too much, you might run into some of this,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like I said, we blurred. It ain't got to be a white lady. It could be the Black lady who doing the exact same dumb, stupid, rude crap. Keep your hands to yourself. It ain't yours. Don't touch it.
They've been telling you that since you was in kindergarten to keep your hands to yourself. I know they have.
But that was when you
hands to yourself. Keep your hands.
That was in the context of don't do something to hurt someone. I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want to pick you up off your feet, make you the most vulnerable you can be, so I can look at you closer.
Okay, you making me change my mind about that punch. So let's move on to the next video. Because you
I mean, that's what it is.
I know, but you and I just feel a little twinge in my body there. Just like, okay. All right, this is the next video. It is by far, and I'm gonna let Theas and AITAH just go to town on it because it was the most confusing story I've ever heard in my life. It is not a confusing story as in understanding. It's more of a confusing story of understanding why. So let's get into it.
I'm a 27-year-old man, and my ex-fiancée is an attractive 25-year-old woman. We had a fairly decent relationship for 5 years and plan to marry in fall 2025. We have no kids. We both have professional jobs, shared an individual interests, and our own group of friends. We probably would have had a nice life together. I've always known about her excessive and over-the-top fear of insects, especially spiders and worms, and I've always done my best to be sensitive to this. However, completely avoiding them is impossible. One evening at a friend's house, we were sitting on the back patio with the other couple, talking, roasting marshmallows, having a few beers, and having a nice night. The next thing I remember is waking up in the emergency room with her crying and explaining what had happened. She saw a non-venomous spider on my forehead that I wasn't even aware of and freaked out. She picked up a cheap metal container that held a citronella candle and proceeded to bash my forehead. She thinks 5 times? Yo! Until she was sure the spider was gone. Yo, what? The result was 8 staples, internal brain trauma, and second-degree burns. Burns? The candle was on? Second-degree burns all over my face. It's been 6 months since this happened, and the burn scars are still slightly visible. I could tell that she genuinely felt bad, and after a couple of days of rest, I really felt bad for her too. I didn't want to see her feeling guilty for her compulsion, but at the same time, after thinking and talking to friends, I decided it was best to call the engagement off. I explained that I really didn't blame her, and also that I didn't want her to blame herself for my injuries, but that personally, I don't want to go through another situation like that again. A few days later, after failing to convince me to change my mind, she left, and I haven't heard from her since. It's been 6 months since the event, and of course I miss her, but I'm wondering if I was in the wrong here. She's freaked out in the past when insects scared her, but never to the point of harming anyone. She wasn't able to explain why she reacted like this. She wasn't drunk, and the people whose house we were at were very close friends. I really don't understand it, but it's caused lasting damage to me. Also, OP adds an edit. I largely didn't include anything about the 2 friends because they didn't or couldn't do much. My longtime friend, the guy, was the one who took the candle from her and his wife called 911. I was sitting next to my ex, and the other couple was sitting directly across the fire pit. According to my friend, it happened fast and unexpectedly. Sounds like the paramedics were there less than 10 minutes after it happened. Neither of them remember seeing a spider or any other bug, and both said that my ex was freaked out when she saw what she had done to me, like she didn't even remember. But she did remember because she told me the story in the hospital. In any event, my guy friend is the one who strongly supported me when I decided to leave her.
First of all, this sounds like a BS story. But second of all,
Yeah.
here, let's go and pretend it's and just assume it's real. Yeah, y'all need to break up because she just beat the shit out of you, dog. I'm sorry, first hour, but she just beat the mess out of you, dog. How big is your girlfriend? You know what I'm saying? Or how small are you? Like, yo, she like went to 5 hits and you got brain injuries and stuff, bro. She was scared. So anyway, she has an irrational fear of insects. My wife has an irrational fear of bugs too. It gets on my nerves, but it is what it is. But I've never been assaulted with a citronella candle. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, look, shorty, I'm not mad at you. You obviously had an episode. I'm gonna be the bigger person and not hold this against you personally. But this ain't the kind of thing I could keep in my life. So bye-bye. And now he's having all the the remorse that comes with the second guessing that comes with breaking up with somebody. All right, cool. That's cool.
Right.
Love there and whatever. But yeah, that relationship. No. Even if you get help, no. Because every time I look in the mirror, I'm gonna think about the day you snap.
Yeah. That was an extreme reaction, girl. That was in like you're in the 1% of people who would react like that upon seeing something with 8 legs. I think, a very rational fear of bugs. My whole life was turned upside down by two 8-legged crawlers. That sense of fear only has, how can I put the most distance between me and that creepy crawly thing until somebody comes and gets it? But here's another thing is that if I'm the only one home, that falls on me. Because what am I going to do? Paralyze myself? That reaction, it's either fake or you really need to talk to somebody about this. That wasn't, and she's not saying it was rational, but it was extreme. And unfortunately, then the bottom line is you pose a threat to whomever you are with until you can get this under control of some kind. So yes, do what is needed. Keep your distance. Ooh, I feel bad for her. Like, okay, let's go into the whole. If this is real, some people are so absolutely paralyzed, or I thought I remembered one time her saying, she did not remember the actual violence, but she did remember the coming up to it. That's it's a strange mixture of I'm gonna loosen my grip on reality, react extremely violent, and then say that I get no what's the word? No consequences from this. Like, why are you punishing me? Because I had no control over this. He's not punishing you. He is just acting out of self-preservation. Sometimes, even if it's after 5 years, you gotta let them go. I don't know. The guy's already thinking he misses her, and that. But then, dude, walk back into that with both eyes open. If that's what you're gonna do. You need to see someone about that. That's it.
I'm confused what the object was that she hit him with. There is a citronella candle that is sold in places in a metal container.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that. It's a big candle, but a citronella helps with mosquitoes, kind of. But some of those citronella candles come in a metal pail, if that makes it even easier to remember. It comes in a small metal pail. So that's what she hit him with. Press charges for assault. She did not see a spider, and I remember you saying up there that she's lying that there was no spider. There are 3 reactions to a traumatic event: fight, flight, or freeze.
Actually, more. But
Oh, there's another one.
there's more. There's fawning. There's a whole bunch actually.
Well, you.
I think you're muted, Faith.
Yeah.
Sorry, I only know. I only think of 2, and now when Marlon said 3, they made sense. But I mean, I guess we got a spectrum for this too now.
Yeah,
I mean, like
I'm not doing it.
I
I'm
guess
going
we
to stick
do
to fight,
because
flight,
it's
or
logical.
freeze.
We would, but I mean that you know, but the general, I would think the general buckets would be those 3 anyway. But you can't say that woman didn't see no spider. The spider might not have been there.
Well,
spider might not have been there, but that don't mean she didn't see a spider. So,
yeah, thank you. That's my
and the people that you counting on to corroborate the story were in the dark across a fire pit. They might not have seen it anyway. And the moment that woman leaped up and started swinging a candle pot at people, that spider was out.
But here's the deal. Lady, I'm not going to get on to you, but I am. You did choose to fight. The problem is, by fighting what you thought you saw, damaged another human being. So it wasn't in your mind, I'm going to think you was trying to do self-preservation. You was trying, this is a scary event, and it's Bill the spider. Too bad you did not see that big head that was behind the spider, and you just thought you was fighting the spider. Number 2, yes, you do need to go get help for this. This is not healthy. And I'm not even saying the fear of something. Sometimes fear saves people's lives. You fear things for a reason, but your reaction to that fear is dangerous to the public. Now,
or at least to him,
that literally will be the only thing I, as the ex-boyfriend, would say to you. You need to go help. And even after you get the help, I can't see us getting back together. But before you even remotely decide to get into another relationship, you need to go get some professional help. Because you picked the one species that's everywhere during the spring and summer time.
She didn't pick it.
Yeah, no.
Like you're giving her agency that she doesn't have.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Now here's the funny thing. You dumped me. Okay, yes, I beat the living stew out of you. But you dumped me. You don't have the agency anymore to tell me what I need to do to go into the next relationship. I'm gonna have to get that input's gonna have to come from somebody else. Because right now I'm hurt that you dumped me. But you know what's funny though is like we can have this conversation and have a high-minded conversation or whatnot because it's a lady. Had this been a dude who blacked out of fear and caused that kind of harm to somebody, he's not getting understanding. He's gonna be in jail.
Yeah.
Like that night, he in jail. So it's, I mean, hey, life is full of double standards.
I'm kind of surprised the hospital didn't call someone, given that he was assaulted.
He probably would have fought her being pursued. 2, women get sympathetic treatment
All the
rip.
time.
Off rip. Women get sympathetic treatment, especially when the victim is a male, right? So, because there's it's just a social bias that says that we can take more damage, which we can, but there's a social bias that we can take more damage, and then she's probably crying and distraught and all of that stuff, which also has a social currency. So she wasn't going to jail. Now, if when they showed up, she was like, "That's right, I did it." Yeah, she going to jail. But if she's sitting in the corner in a ball crying because she doesn't know what happened to her and she started beating her boyfriend that she loves so much in the head with a bucket.
I guarantee you it was at least a conversation between the nurses, though.
Oh, yeah, they might
because they are mandatory reporters.
Yeah. There's probably a discussion, but there wouldn't have been no discussion if he reversed them roles. If he was afraid of spiders and that was his woman that he hit with a candle.
And I guarantee you, he's not getting arrested at the hospital.
No, he wouldn't have made it to the hospital.
He wouldn't have made it there.
No, you can get your treatment after they book you, sir.
They would have showed up at the house with cops.
She could have cried all she wants, still pressing charges. And that'll be up to him, but it's not going to happen. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, he chose not to press charges, and this wasn't something that the state is going to want to put themselves on the line to press charges on his behalf. Right. So,
anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it before the hour is up. A blast from the past. Yes, if you're new to the show, A Blast from the Past is a story that has already been featured on this show before, but it's probably been some huge amount of time between the first time we heard it and this time that we listened to it. So let's just go and get into it. Husband wants to go to the ex funeral.
I'll admit I'm biased right off the bat. I couldn't stand her. I call her his ex to myself and others. He called her his friend. We're all in our early 40s. She died recently, aneurysm. I've been with him for 10 years now, but he'd known her for 20 plus. The way he tells it, they were friends in college, decided to date, got married, and then realized they weren't a great couple and just decided to be friends. All that happened years before I met him. He was clear early on that she was important. A couple months into dating, it came up that his friend was actually his ex-wife. He explained the above to me, saying that she was one of his closest friends and that it was purely platonic. I expressed some discomfort at him being so close to an ex, and he told me, that's fine. If you have a serious issue with it, let me know and save us some time. I'll choose her. I like you and all, but I've known her for over 12 years, and she is one of the most important people in my life. You'll have to be okay with that if you want us to be a thing. When we were engaged, I asked again. He gave me this perplexed look and asked, why would us getting married affect my friendships? I sucked it up and went along. I resented every moment of knowing her, especially when we had to be social. She understood some part of him that I couldn't. Her husband was friends with mine as well, so it's not like I could use him as an angle. He'd have lunch with the ex, they'd go to their geeky movies and whatever. The few times I brought it up, he said, we've had this conversation before, you had your chance to back out. She died after they had lunch the other day on the way to her car. He spent a bunch of time crying, but honestly, I was relieved. Okay, red flags for you, lady. He was working with her husband on funeral planning. I told him, you don't think you're going, do you? Okay. I need to create like a continuous red flags button here, apparently. My argument summed up, she's dead and she's not a factor anymore. He doesn't get to use his she's my friend excuse since she doesn't exist anymore. He had his cry for a couple of days. He gets to be done with mourning her already. There's no need for him to go to her funeral since I wouldn't want her at his. He was the angriest I've ever seen him when I told him that, replying that he'll be going no matter how I feel and that he's willing to burn this to the ground while holding up his wedding band. Besides you, she was the closest friend in my life. Him, her husband, and my sisters are calling me an insensitive asshole over this, all saying that there was no romantic aspect to the relationship and that I'm heartless. Her husband went so far as calling me a ghoul for how I reacted. Oh, you reached asshole level ghoul. That's new. I never felt their relationship was appropriate, and I hid that for many years because I wanted to be with my husband. Now that she's gone, I don't feel that I should have to hide it anymore and can speak freely. Am I the astronaut for just wanting him to be done with her and for him to not attend the funeral? Yeah.
I don't remember what my response was. I remember the story, but I don't remember my response. But I mean, basically, you were not in the relationship that you were supposed to be in, and he's right. Early on, he was like, "Look, that'd be like back, this would be a way back machine, but that would be like when I was, single. My ex-wife was always going to be a part of my life. At that time, we hated each other, but she was always going to be a part of my life, and we knew that. So, being with somebody who has a young child, you decide you want to be in that relationship with them, then that is a consideration you need to figure out on your end, because the other parent of that child might very well be a part of the equation. And that's one of the things that's hard about being a step parent, so up front, but she has every right for her feelings to change. But it doesn't sound like her feelings changed. It sounds like she accepted what she needed to. Well, she agreed to what she felt she needed to agree to get what she wanted. And so she was just mainly gutting it out and putting up with stuff all this time. And then when the ex-girlfriend, best friend died, she had a sense of relief because she no longer had to gut it out. But none of this was ever because she had reached a level of understanding and acceptance. The whole time she resented being in this position, a position she put herself in. And so, yeah, are you the butthole or whatever the right term is? Yeah, you are. You know what I'm saying? Mainly because you did the entire relationship under false pretenses. You weren't being fair to yourself, and you weren't being fair to him. Now, speaking to him, though.
I was waiting for this.
See, I'm a little different. Like I said, my ex-wife will always be a part of my life. All right? But we don't talk. We don't ever spend no time together if our daughter ain't involved. And it's always been that way. Right? We are friendly. We are friends. But we understand where those lines are. Your current should never have to compete with your ex. Period. Point blank. In a discussion. So if you want this woman to be your lady, it is unfair to think that you can just do this simple carte blanche thing and say, well, she's going to be in my life and we're going to hang out and we're going to do things together. And if you don't like it, you can leave. That's fine up front. You say that up front. It gives her the chance to leave. Okay, cool. She leaves or she stays. But you need to understand that you have set an unrealistic and unfair expectation for anyone to be in a relationship with you. So you can give all the disclaimers you want. You're not being fair. And if you're not being fair coming in, you're not going to be fair in the relationship. So both sides are wrong here, in my opinion. He did not do what he needed to do to create a relationship that she could function in. And she didn't do what she needed to do by being an honest partner so that he knew what relationship she couldn't function in. Right? So that's why I'm saying at the end of the day, they just didn't need to be together.
it's very, very weird that you don't adjust your current friendships to allow the room for this new growing relationship that you have. And honestly, if a friend wouldn't be supportive of me and a partner, I'd be side-eyeing and wondering, are they really my friend? So, yeah, I agree very much with Theos there. That there were mistakes made by everybody. But no, you can't stop him from going to the funeral just because you want. And she was finally honest and said, it makes me uncomfortable. I didn't catch, were there children between the best friends? No, okay. That it confused me just a little bit when Theo started talking about
No, that was just to paint why I said mine is in my life. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you don't have a child tying you. And you're pushing a little too much for the supposedly completely platonic friend. It's just the whole thing looked really weird. When it comes down to it, you're not communicating. Neither of you.
Here's the deal. And it's silly now saying it. I heard a statement a while back from somebody who also does these videos. Everybody's a general after the war. You, and I'm just speaking to OP first. You had plenty of time to do two things. Neither one you did. You had a chance to either leave or you had a chance to say something about this. And you did neither one of those things. You just let this fester. And once the time came where I'm assuming y'all got married. I'm not really particularly sure if they got married or they're still engaged. I don't know. But it was enough for him that you just, wiped your eyebrow and phew, I'm glad this is over because she's dead. And you came off sounding like a butthole afterwards. Yeah. The whole thing you said was sounding like a butthole. Now, for the gentleman, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, kudos to you. Let me say that first and foremost. Kudos to you for saying at the beginning, look, this is a friend. She's very important to me. If you can't handle that, I understand. But I'm just letting you know, she's very important to me. If you want to walk out, I may be hurt, but I will be understanding. My take on this is that's commendable to say. My other take on this is you're being unrealistic. If you're going to be in a relationship, then I can't see somebody watching their significant other go on dates with a female significant other. We're talking male, female significant other, but going out on dates with another female. I personally would have said something about it. I'm not comfortable with this. There should be some kind of boundary. We need to discuss this. We need to talk about some boundaries here. But just all around, everybody just this whole thing is just not good. It was a very lackluster foundation to build a relationship on because, like I said, the fiance / husband, like I said, I don't know if they got married or they still fiance. The male was unrealistic, and the female didn't speak up. Like, you really should have said something about it. You just sat there and we're talking about when you have an issue with somebody and you don't discuss it, it just grows such sustain in your body that it comes off at the most. You said some things at the end, lady. Just like, you think you're going to the funeral? It's over with. You can't hold that over my head and she free. She dead. Like, are you serious? Like, so it was bad. It was bad. Hello, Susan. Hello, peeps. I was listening to an explanation of the cruise amicus brief to the 11th Circuit asking for Judge Cannon's removal. You're still muted.
Sorry, I just can't follow all any of that stuff. See, you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to be more like Trump. See, I know that I have a tendency to overspeak people, so I put myself on mute so that when I just start to blurt out, y'all can't hear it. See, so but Cannon, it's kind of like I don't know what I don't know, and I trust that Jack Smith, given his experience in dealing with the most difficult of difficult, most high stakes of high stakes situations, his understanding and his team's understanding so far beyond whatever I might pull out my second hour. Okay, I might pull out. Huh?
Ooh.
The second hour yet?
Yeah, it may not be the second hour by our time, but by the clock, we in the second hour.
You're behind.
All right, so whatever I might pull out my behind. So I just look at it and be like, look, Jack needs to do whatever he needs to do. If he feels this is the path, which is not to have her, not to push the envelope on getting her removed, then he has a reason for that. And I've just got to follow it. Whoever wants to do a friend of the court amicus brief and try to push it to say she needs to go, that's great. All the judges who are saying that she need to go, that's great. All of us in the peanut gallery that say she need to go, that's great. But she's there, and that's how this garbage system works. And if people want to have better judges, that they need to factor that into how they vote, because Cannon is going to be there for the next 40 years. And the knuckle dragon MAGA judge in Texas is going to be there for the next 20 or 30 years, right? That's a consequence. As they say, elections have consequences. These are consequences. So I hope she gets kicked off the case, but damage is kind of done. Because if he wins, it's irrelevant. If he loses, it's still kind of irrelevant, because the Supreme Court created this level of immunity that there's so many ways for him to dance around behind that Jack still is going to have a much narrower path than he had before, which was already kind of narrow. But yeah, I hope she gets kicked off the case. I hope he gets convicted, because I think this is horrible. I think he put a lot of people's lives at risk to the extent we will never know, because they can never tell us.
All right, everybody, that is our first hour. We're going to go ahead and get into the second hour. We got a lot of people watching, so thank you all that is watching. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I would truly appreciate it. It tells the YouTube algorithm that we are live, and the more people that know we're live, the more people that will watch. Also, if you are new, please comment. You can come in and just say hello. That also helps the show out. We are going to go ahead and get into the second hour. And if you are new and well, not new, but if you're just tuning in now, number one, thank you. Welcome or welcome back. Number two, the second hour, I said, please grab your tissues because it is going to be an emotional second hour. And it is going to start with the very first story of Am I the A-hole? And it's going to roll into positive story of the week. So just a heads up, just let you know, 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
Wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, finally, I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Finally, finally, I wanna be free. Finally, finally, I always stay dreaming, never imagine I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Higher to a bird. You, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally.
We are back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay these bills. Radical Truth to Power tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have no idea what our topic is going to be on, but we'll tune in and find out. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Tracy Media Fan. Help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. Please do not forget to support Theas at Our United Core. Communities build movements. And if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RAD toilet paper at outlook.com. And let's go ahead and get into the Mama Heart Hour.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, I'm not sleepy, not tired, so doing pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this. Jack Smith appeal. Crew is saying that if the 11th Circuit reverse her, they should remove her and put someone else in her place. I'm a legal nerd as well as political and history nerd.
Right. I know he appealed. That's the only reason they're doing this. What I was getting at is that he didn't ask for her removal. The amicus is asking for her removal. So I'm just saying, for whatever reason he didn't ask for her removal, I just have to trust he has a good reason for it. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm kind of leaning towards.
Want me to explain Alan Leishman's 13 keys to the White House? Alan Leishman is a guy who has 13 keys that he invented that he predicted 9 out of the 10 presidents to be into the White House. The only one, and I was trying to figure out, well, what was the one that he messed up on? Well, come to find out, that was the one between Bush and Gore that he got wrong because apparently he went for Gore, but also apparently nobody saw that Florida was a court battle. That was basically one. But he has 13 keys, 13 things, questions, that if one candidate gets 8 or more of them, then he predicted that person is going to win. At this time, without any, well, the way I understand it, at this time, it's Kamala Harris winning. There are 2 keys that's still up for debate, but Leishman said that even if it was given to Trump, that Harris would still win. So there you go.
All right. So the thing about Lichtman, smart dude, weird dude, smart dude. But I mean, okay, so you guessing like everybody else, bro. So you've got it right 13 times. Well, all of them were not close calls, or however many times, but all of them were not close calls. Just put that out there, Mr. Lichtman. But keep doing what you're doing. You're an interesting person. You're like Mr. Beat when he gets old. To me, y'all know Mr. Beat, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm not to plug other people's channels and stuff, but check out Mr. Beat. Teaches you so much.
I had him on the show before. I had him on the show before, Adam, when I was showing systemic racism.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So he does a lot of political things. He's like the new age Bill on the Capitol Hill kind of guy, man. He breaks it all down. Really smart guy.
He's really good.
And he's fun.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Am I the a-hole? All right. I gave everybody a fair warning. Let's go ahead and get into the story.
My 35 female husband, 40 male, has a son from a previous relationship. Let's call him Kyle, 18 male. I've known Kyle since he was a toddler, and I try to raise him the best I could. I support his hobbies and passions, give him advice when he asks for it, etc. When Kyle was 8, I had a child of my own, a beautiful baby girl, Anne, fake name. That's when I realized I never loved Kyle. I have always tried to be a mother figure in his life, but I never felt like his mother. It was all just an act. I simply didn't want to ruin his childhood. I don't know where this is going, but I don't like it. I tried not to be biased and treat Anne and Kyle the same. I gave them the same amount of support and attention, but every time he called me mom, it felt like a needle piercing my conscience. He's not my son, and yet I am his mother. Kyle is moving out of the house. Before he left, he told me how much he loves me and how he's lucky to have me as his mother. I felt really guilty and broke out crying. I told them that I never saw him as my son and that I never loved him. It has been a week and he hasn't contacted me since. He still contacts his dad and Anne and told them why he refused to contact me. Now, Anne is also upset at me, and my husband told me that I should have kept it to myself. Maybe I should have, but a part of me also feels like he has the right to know how I really feel.
All right, so this is pretty easy. You are more than an asshole. See, this is those people who swear they say dumb to me. Wait a second, all right. They say dumb, ugly shit like I'm just being honest. No, you're being an asshole. That's what you are, right? Because tact and word choice and all those things that matters. The boy, for whatever reason, saw you as a mother. He went past the step of saying you're like a mom and calling you Miss whatever your first name is, and you're my stepmother. No, you were like a mom to me. I call you mom. That's a big leap. It's a big leap. So even if you're not there, shut up. What does it help? This goes back to that woman we were talking about with the abortion thing. How does it help? How does it help this other person to say I never loved you? Like, what's in you anyway that you could be in this child's life for that long and not love them? Like, bruh, So yeah, it's yuck.
You are evil. You are an asshole. End of story. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be divorce. I mean, I know we don't like throw that around too much, but unless I got kids, like if we got more kids together, then I might have to find a way to wrestle through some things. We go to counseling and figure this out. But if we don't have any children together, and this is our last one that just moved out the house, we good. We done.
Well, in the story, there's just the younger daughter, Anne.
Okay. So we might go to counseling and figure something out then, because I ain't trying to pay you child support. So, yeah, but that might be where we end up though, because that's foul. Like,
yeah,
foul. That's a deep level of emotional and psychic trauma that you just put on somebody, and then sent them on to go deal with it on their own. Like,
and then you can't understand why he's not talking to you.
There is something Dia said that's always going to be the go-to statement. What the fuck did you plan on getting out of this? What was you going to get out of this? What you said is the same thing that I have had so much issue, and I'm just speaking for myself. If y'all comfortable with it, fine. I know I grew up with it, and after the more I grew up, the more it was pissing me off. I'm just being real. I've always hated that statement. I always will hate that statement. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. No, you are trying to hide behind the facts that you're an asshole and think it's fucking cute that you could just say shit that's going to belliger or embarrass somebody. Like, I'm sorry. I can be honest with somebody and go, look, you're being foul. This ain't right. Blah, blah, blah. Because I know when I say something to somebody that I know they're going to take it some type of way, yeah, you might take it some type of way. But I'm saying because you're not seeing certain things that you may be hurting somebody else. And I just need to bring it to your attention that, look, let's just put all the cards on the table. That's my definition. What you did, I don't know what you was going to plan on getting out of this. If anybody don't know, I have 4 stepchildren. To be honest with you, I don't remember the last time I used the word step. I could never, ever hurt my kid like that. Never. It would have not ever crossed my mind. And lady, I'm going to tell you something that's very, very important that you need to hear. If you could be in a child's life since they was a toddler, and you have no love, and let me finish the sentence, and you have no love for that child, oh, wait a minute, I discovered I have no love for the child after I had my child. There's something wrong with you. Then, like Thea said, is absolutely correct. Then you send him on his merry way to deal with that. It's been a week and he hasn't talked to me. Another question: why would you give a fuck? Why would you? He ain't talking to you. What was your end goal for saying what you said? You're heartless. You're a monster. And chances are that husband is waiting for that younger child to leave the nest, and his ass is out.
She's probably, you know what, real talk, all seriousness, she's probably psychopathic or sociopathic, which one of the two, probably sociopathic, because psychopathic, like there's no emotion. It would have revealed itself by now. But sociopathic is, I think she could be that or narcissistic, and not trying to like do the whole, I'm a psychologist. I'm far from it. But I'm just saying, to be able to mimic the environment, but not feel any of the interactions. Some got to be not right for you to be able to do that. There's something wrong. In my opinion, because I'm not qualified to diagnose anybody.
But wait, there's more. Tracy, none of the stories have a second to it. None of the videos have an update or anything like that. I literally just could not find any. I'm direct, but I listen and try to understand other people. Hurting a kid that way is completely in a big word for me. Insubscribable?
Inexcusable.
Inexcusable. Nobody needs to know what you think. Right. And here's what I'm saying to you. You faked the phone all the way up until 18. Why the fuck would you just try to be honest now? And please do not. Oh my God. I just thought about what you said. When he said all that, I love you, Mom, I'm going to miss you and everything else, I bust out in tears because I just couldn't hold it up. Go fuck yourself. You're not getting no doggone pity party because you just couldn't hold this secret in no more.
You've been lying to this baby for years. You can lie for a few more hours. Let the baby go. Just say, just lie like you done before. I love you too, baby. Take care. Yeah. They ain't even got to say, son, I love you too, baby. Take care. Or you too, baby. Call me when you get there. Very simple. Very, very, very simple. you've been wanting to say this to this child, but you didn't think that it was appropriate to say it before now. But now you have this loophole that he's an adult. So you're going to just use it. And now, why is everybody mad at me? That's why I'm saying it's like there's a wiring thing here. Like, either she's malevolent, which I doubt, or she's empty, right? Like there's not a connection happening. So you might be mad at her and all the horrible things that we have said about her, and she will not be able to process it because to her, A and B led to C. I just followed the formula. Why are you
Thing is, I'm not pushing back on. I'm just thinking a different angle. She really don't give a rat's ass that he's mad. He really, she doesn't. I mean, for you to say something like that, she doesn't.
That's my point.
What is bothering her is her biological child is mad too. And that's something that's, it's been a week. It's been a week. You don't care about
that's what I'm saying. If you look at all of that and put it all together, it's not that her child is mad. It is that what she is protecting, what she is valuing, which is her home, is being disrupted. So she never said this to this child while the child was with her because he was in her home. He was in her protective bubble. Now he's out. So all I did was tell him the truth that I have not been able to tell him before now. So when everybody else is mad at me, I don't understand it because I didn't do it to hurt him. I did it to help him. I just want to tell him the truth. And now that truth is making this thing I protect over here messed up. And that actually ended up making that person mad. That now this thing over here is messed up because that's why she hid it from her husband. That's why she hid it from her biological. She's probably got attachment issues with her biological too. So it's everybody plays a role. Like I guess a good way to put it is Donald Trump. We're all pretty familiar with Donald Trump. We watched Donald Trump. Donald Trump can mimic things, but he can't get deep. Like the deepest he can get is a transactional thing, right? Is how do you reflect backwards onto me? If you reflect backwards onto me, I care about that because I care about me. And to other people, it can look like he cares about you. No, he's incapable of it. It's not that he wants to be this way. It's not that he's seeking to be this way. This is his way. And there's a lot of them out there, a lot of people out there. That's why the diagnosis exists, right? That's why the condition exists. It's not 3-4 people wandering around. It's millions of people running around. And we oftentimes just didn't see it because 1, we didn't have to, or 2, we hadn't run into it.
All right, Anna, take the headphones out.
Okay.
Make her go through all that.
Yes, I do. I'm not blowing out her ear. Positive story of the week. Okay, so from that story of a step parent to this story of a step parent.
My mother is not my biological mother, but I will be referring to her as my mother in this post because that's what she is to me. My biological mother passed away giving birth to me, and I was raised solely by my father for the first 3 years of my life until he met my mother. I won't be talking much about my father in this post. My father is amazing in every way, but this is about my mom. They got married 6 months after my 6th birthday. They got married months after my 6th birthday, and they have had 4 more kids. My mother always treated me like her own and never let me feel like an outsider or a half-sibling. I was always her son and big brother to all my siblings. Yesterday, I had my 18th birthday, and I spent the afternoon with my family and went to a party with my friends in the evening. When I got back home, everybody was already asleep, and there was an envelope on my pillow. I opened it, and it was a letter that my mother had written addressed to my 18-year-old self the day before she married my father. 12 years ago, she wrote that letter telling me that she would never dishonor my biological mother's memory, but would try her best to be a mother figure to me. She promised to kiss my forehead every morning before I got on the school bus. She promised to always encourage my interest and would try her hardest to come to every practice and game of mine. She promised to never differentiate between me and any potential future siblings in any way, and many more beautiful promises. She ended it by saying, "You're an 18-year-old now, an adult, and are hopefully heading to college soon, and you no longer have any formal reason to maintain a relationship with me, but I truly hope that in these last 12 years, I was able to be a loving mother and fulfill all my promises to you. And I can only hope that you will continue to give me the privilege of being your mom because you will always be my son. I love you." And had a picture my father took of her and my 3-year-old self at a zoo. Who's cutting onions in here, you sons of bitches? Like my father, I'm a stoic but in tune with my emotions kind of person. This letter had me crying, and I have not been able to stop reading it again and again, and it's currently 4 a.m. as I type this. My mother fulfilled every promise she made 12 years ago, and I genuinely can't imagine life without her. She opened her arms and heart to a boy she had zero biological responsibility toward, and has been the most loving and supportive mother I could possibly ask for. How do I even begin to thank her for everything she did for me? What's something big or small I could do to show her how grateful I am for her? Aaron. Update. Holy shit. I didn't expect this to blow up. Thank you for all the kind words about my mom. When I woke up, I read some of the comments and went straight to my mom and told her everything I wrote in the post, and I honestly couldn't keep it together and cried a little bit. I told her that no matter what, she was my mom and I loved her. I told her how much I appreciated her for all the love and support, and that I was proud to be her son. She also cried a lot, and she just told me that she loved me. And she's very happy to have me around for a couple of extra months. I should be starting college in a few weeks, but I'm committed to a college for football and will be enrolling in January instead and just taking community college classes and training right. I'm planning to take her to the zoo to recreate the zoo picture, and I want to give her some kind of jewelry. I haven't figured out the jewelry part exactly, but I will eventually. For now, I just want to cherish these last couple of months before college and help my mom around the house however I can. Also, letters to our future selves is something I can get behind. Like a letter I write now and gift to my mom before I get married or something that would be nice. By the way, yes, she already legally adopted me on my 10th birthday, and I've been calling her mom or mama for as long as I can remember for those who are asking.
Okay, yeah, you got me. This echoes my own experience and feelings for my dad. Where my biological father never once called me when I was in hospital. Never once showed that he cared. My dad was by my side. If I didn't have somebody to go to an appointment with when I was younger, he would be there. He was there doing the bad things. And though it's not legal, we still had an adoption ceremony between myself and my parents. Yeah, that's my dad. You know, do not mistake that if I am ever saying my dad, that's who I mean. His name is Matthew. He can be really hard to live with at times, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We have fought through a lot as a family. And this is just what an interesting juxtaposition of the bonds of family, of motherhood. Like, because that first lady did everything that she should have done. No, she just hadn't said the one thing. And then you have somebody who goes above and beyond and shows them with everything that they say, everything that they do, that you are my child as well. I will be there to protect you, love you, whatever you need from me. That is what a parent does. So we look at it really strangely when people cannot form bonds. And this goes to fathers too. Because my biological one, people were looking at him going, what is wrong with you? I had to make some kind of peace with it, saying it wasn't a willful thing. He really couldn't reach out. That was beyond his physical and emotional capability. I did not forgive him for that, and I don't think I have to. I have let go. This man is dead now. And I still have my dad here with me. So yeah, well, these two stories hit. I don't know if I was as angry with the woman in the first story, because there are certain things coming out she cannot see, and she does not feel bonds the same way. Wish it had come out in some other form, but that was beautiful. That was a really lovely, positive story of the week. Thank you, Lara. But I'm gonna go cry again.
Yes.
Well, no way I can flip this and do my normal here's a negative side after that. So I will say though, it reminds me of something that I've been meaning to do, haven't done, but I feel like I need to get done. Is like writing a letter to each of my girls, or maybe not each of them because there'll be a whole lot of writing, but writing my entire life story as best as I can be, as honest as I can be about it, all the ups, the downs, the light, the dark, all of it. So that should something happen to me, they have it, because what I have found now, me and my girls have amazing relationships. They know that they're the center of my universe. But when you can't hear that voice anymore, when you can't touch that person anymore, I've not had to experience it personally yet, but I'm a very empathetic person, so I do feel it when the people around me feel it, right? And I don't want them to truly ever be without my voice, right? So yes, I got these videos that are all out here, but good luck finding them. Stuff is on my computer, yeah, but it's on your computer. How many of us got old computers? They got all kinds of crazy stuff in there, right? Technology moves and your stuff falls behind. So there's no replacement, there's no substitution for the written word. So I do need to go ahead and get that together, you know. So that's what this story does for me. It's just reinforcing that aspect.
Okay, let me see if I can get through this without crying, or at the very least a quivering voice. Behind the scenes, that there has been a change in my life, the way I act, the way I walk, the way I talk, and it all could be from it all could be seen from one event, and that's recently I had COVID, the new strand. I'm not going to tell you about one event that changed me, but I am going to tell you about the second event that did change me. And that was my oldest daughter and Foxy, her mother. And her mother was telling me the story that after she told the oldest daughter that I was sick and hacking and everything else, she told me that my daughter blew up mad. How can you leave him like that? You need to do something. You need to take care of him. You can't leave him like that. And the next day, she's asking me what I need. I got a humidifier. I got this nasty ass vitamin C mix or whatever the hell it is, because I ain't drink but one of those, and that ain't never happening again, because oh my God, that was disgusting. I'd rather just take my time and let the virus go through me than drink that crap. But it's when you have somebody who years and years and years and years, you put so much love into that child that's not biologically yours, and you take out the word biological. She's mine. She's Foxy. And then it's reciprocated back to you years later. You're damn right I changed. You damn right. And I'm not going back. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
I hope. Have you talked with her about that? Have you let her know how deeply that you felt that?
No, but after this story, I am. After this story, I really am. We took a vacation. We drove up to Washington. It was 6 hours from here. I'll do a 6-hour trip. When I tell you that was one of the greatest vacations I've ever had. When you're in a van and you're laughing with each other all the way up, when you're laughing all the way back down, when we're cracking jokes and reminiscing and just the whole bonding thing. And they're adult. Thank you. And they're adult kids. They're adults.
Yeah.
And we're just
that you like to be around.
It was wonderful. I would never trade my kids for nobody else in the world. I cannot see my life without my children. I just don't want to. It's not in me. Now the other kids get on my damn nerves, but hey, well, then again, I still wouldn't change a thing.
That's the beautiful thing about kids. You know, I can't relate to the stepfather role because I've only had mine, my biologicals, as you can say. But then I'm also that one that I guess is like that old spirit that kind of moves through. I'm like, if you come in contact with me, you're now my child. Like, so my ex-wife's daughter might as well be mine too. My daughter's best friend, mine too. Now all them other kids, y'all just kids, and I care for you like you kids. But those are mine. Them two, they mine. Right? If they call me and said I need, then they got. If I got, they got. Right? And that's just our relationship. But no, it's awesome to hear the things that you guys are sharing. I think it's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of people out there who can relate to those things, and you know, big ups to everybody who leads with love, man. I think that's incredibly important and powerful.
I just wanted to share. There are these. I don't know if the light's good enough. This is a deck of cards. It's called Tales, Tales, and it is filled with questions that you might want to ask your parents so that you can get to know them. You know, everything from, you know, how did you get your name? The purpose of this was that like family genealogists who they want to share the family story, and so they start actually interviewing people, their grandparents, their aunts, their cousins, to get that little bit of an outline of who they were and what they thought. Because there are going to be people interested in your family generations from now. They will want to know what we thought, what we were like going through this. You know, I tell our next generation about things like 9/11, and my babies weren't alive yet. And so they look at that. They've never had to go through something quite like that. And every time I talk about it with my nieces and nephews, it's a deep talk. It only serves to bring us closer to know, yeah, have conversations with your family. And if you're the type that doesn't know what to ask, you know, I am the family genealogist, and I am in the process of interviewing my aunts who are in their 70s, almost 80s. And they've seen a lot. We have the gift of our experience. And yeah, our families do want to know.
I think that's really cool. I think it's really cool. That's why, now I've always felt like there's something wrong with me per se, wrong, whatever that term really stands for. But well, not to get too psychoanalytical and deep here. It's like I've never felt like I really fit. Like I really just don't fit. I don't fit in this world. I don't fit with other people. I don't fit. Like the way I see the world is always so much different than everybody around me. And it's like, okay, I'm the odd duck here. But it's cool. I love me. I'm very much in love with me. But
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very lonely kind of way to move through the world though. But where I was headed though is I'm not the genealogist, right? So
right, no,
one
yeah,
one of my cousins is, and I really appreciate her, becoming a family custodian the way that she's stepping up and doing those things. Because like if you ask me about September 11th, I'm not gonna have much to say because the only thing I remember from September 11th was being afraid for where my daughter and my ex-wife were. Okay, I was scared of that because they weren't with me, physically with me. And all the hate. Like people always want to look at September 11th, like the country came together and they came together to hate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so is it like I'm wired differently. I'm wired wrong. I don't know. But it's like I look at these things and like where everybody says, well, this is when America came together and patriotism and all that. And I'm like, no, I remember freedom fries. I remember being against anybody who even looked like they were Middle Eastern. I remember taking the racial slurs that have been hurled at my people for generations and reappropriating them for these people over here and just adding a little prefix to it, I remember all of that, right? I don't remember togetherness. That's not how I remember September 11th. So it's like, wow, maybe I didn't process that the way, fully. And then like we look at January 6th. I almost don't feel nothing about January 6th because I was sitting there looking at it, like I said in the video, white privilege versus white fright, right? It was like the two clashed into each other, and it was just like, okay, so it wasn't my problem, right? and it's like I'm gonna call it warped way of like looking at some of these things. So it's like 20 years from now, if you ask me about it, I won't even really remember too tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just won't. It'll all blur into more of the nasty part of America, which is true, but there's something to be said for being able to see the other side, right? Seeing the togetherness and the sunshines and the rainbows, there's something to that. I just can't see it. Like, I can acknowledge it's there, but I can't see it because other stuff is just too loud for me. So I'm like, wow.
For about a month. It faded really fast, for my liking, right? But that's my point. It's so awesome to hear people's experiences and what they remember. That's just as valid, like to going through 9/11 to anything that I've said,
I don't know. I think yours makes for a much better history and retelling than mine, right? When you hear people talk about we stormed the beaches of Normandy and took on the Kaiser and all of that, and I'm just like, yes, and my people were still segregated in the same army that was storming that beach. They were some of the first ones y'all sent off the boat to be used as cannon fodder, right? It's like I still can't see. Like I have to find a way to broaden some of my vistas because, like, I know the other stuff, right? I know the other stuff. I'm aware of the other stuff, but like where I tie into it, right? So you don't want mine in the history books. You want everybody else's in the history book. Mine's gonna be a footnote piece.
Well, you're talking about.
Wow.
You're talking about a country who is built on villains and heroes. Like we can go back as far back as the even the silent movies. You know, you have the person in the corner playing the piano, that's your music, and all you see is the picture and just words on it. So let's go that far back to villains and heroes in America. And one of the most popular genre back then was cowboys and Indians. That's what you call them.
Yeah.
And you had to make the Indians the savage, the bad guys. We have to conquer, and conquering the savages automatically made you the hero.
Yep. Even though in the real telling of the story, depending upon where you sit on the side of the story, the villains won. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. But we will never, they would never allow that part of the story to be told.
well, they allow it.
You will never tell the story of what really happened at Thanksgiving.
Right. They'll allow you to tell the story. They just won't allow it to be the dominant narrative. Right. And for the longest time, they wouldn't even let you tell the story. But now they'll let you tell the story, but it can't be the dominant narrative. Like the whole thing, I called it when this first like really blew up however many years ago. Because, you know, the conservative movement, they find a new boogeyman every couple years. So when they got done with whatever the last one was, they focused on CRT. Remember when that became like the big flashpoint? And I called it then. I said, the moment they turn CRT into black versus white, CRT will become a villain and they'll get rid of it. Right? Because that's what they did. All CRT is really saying is this is where we overlap, and let's hear other people's points of view to the same story so we can get a more understanding of how things actually kind of played out. Right? That means bring in the Asians and everybody, bring everybody's story in, because I remember as a kid, I used to look at World War II and I'm like, you know, I wonder how the Japanese tell this story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder how the French tell this story. I bet it's not going to be the same as what I'm being told from our point of view, because you always want to be the hero in your own story. And it's so it's like I'm that one that like you were saying, Marlon, like America is fixated with heroes and villains because it helps with the narrative, right? The patriotism, the American exceptionalism, and all that. And then I'm the one that comes in and say, yo, there are no heroes and there are no villains. Everybody's mixed up, you know? And so your hero over here, the Cowboys, they on stolen land, mad at people for fighting back for them stealing from them.
And just to piggyback on what you were saying, before CRT, and I don't know, it may have been before CRT, it may have been around the exact same time as CRT. There was another battle, which I'm sorry, I'm still so confused on how people were duped into this. Woke Nation. I'm like, wait a minute. So, and I'm going to be as silly as you people are that fights Woke Nation. Okay, so you rather be asleep. Since we're just going to be silly, let's go ahead and be all the way silly with this. So you rather be asleep. So you would rather just have somebody tell you what to do, how to feel, and how to react to it. And you're good with this because being woke to what's going on is, again, the bad guy in this whole narrative.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't even get it.
Have you ever tried to use that?
Say that again?
Have you ever tried to use that?
I
Big woke.
refuse to waste my time trying to
I'll
use.
tell you how it goes.
Thinking, why did you fall for the fact that the opposite of woke is asleep, and you think woke is the enemy? I don't get your logic, and because I don't get your logic, I'm not gonna fight with you.
So here's the thing, because I do this for fun. So
I've
asked multiple. Well, because we'll get into that woke thing, right? They'll be like, well, you just woke. I'm like, well, what's the opposite of woke? And without fail, because they know they can't admit to what the opposite of woke is. Because what they're really saying is they are against intellectualism. They are for anti-intellectualism. So they can't say the opposite of woke is to be sleep. Can't say it. What they always pivot to is what they have now redefined woke to be. So you say, well, what's the opposite of woke? Well, it's, social justice warriors and wanted to oppress, people for just being whatever color that they are. And then instead of white grievance, they just flip it up. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, no, I didn't ask you all that. Woke means you woke up from something. What were you doing before you woke up? Right? Like, they can't do it, bro, because for them it's and that's one of the things that the people who are moderate and are really the best ones are selfish people. Okay, the best ones to deal with in the MAGA movement and the deep conservatives are the selfish people, the ones who just want more money. See, those are easier to get to because they still have their logic center. They're just prioritizing their financial situation above everything else, right? You may never agree with them, may never get a breakthrough, but you can have conversations with them. What you can't do are the ones who their real motivation is preservation of status. It's not preservation of power because most of them ain't got no power. It's preservation of status. Because if they can preserve their status as, now they call themselves legacy Americans, if they can preserve their status at the top of the heap, then even if they themselves didn't get much, they're reserving the opportunity for their children and their grandchildren to rise in the ranks. And they will fight, they will sacrifice, they'll do whatever they've had to do, just as their ancestors have done, to assure that for their descendants. And where a lot of people on the left just keep screwing this up is they refuse to see that. They refuse to see the nobility in it, right? Because there is nobility in this. This is saying life is a contest. Life is full of resources. Life is about who has and who doesn't have. That's life. It's America, it's Africa, it's Europe. I don't care where you are. That's what it's about. So we're going to do what we have to do to make sure my grandchildren never have to suffer like your grandchildren. So it's not that I hate you. It's just that I love these people a whole lot more. And they will react on that level. And you're never going to move somebody off of that. Someone who believes that, well, you cannot get them off of that, right? Because to come off of that is to say that I want less for my children and my grandchildren. Mm-hmm. What we say about decency and humanity and the overall well-being of the nation, yeah. To them, that's storybook shit, right? Like, yeah, that's cool. We can have all that. I mean, I'll work with you, man. I want everybody to be good, but I want mine to be better. Status is a construct.
Yeah. What if status is defined by how much?
But that's not reality, though, Susan.
It's
like
not.
I feel you. I feel where you're coming from because that would be an ideal matrix, right? Like, yo, I got what I need, and I'll work for what I want. But I want everyone to hit the need point, and to each according to their need, as the Bible says, to each according to their need. That means what Marlon needs, won't be the same as what I need. And I'm going to be invested in looking at that and saying, I understand that. I understand that for Marlon's family, you have 4 children?
5 total.
5 children. Okay, so that's a family of 7. What Marlon needs is a house that is conducive to keeping a safe environment for 7 people to grow in. What I need, there's 5 of us. So I just need a house that fits that. So by need, Marlon's house will be bigger than mine. And I should look at that and say, good. And I'm going to help Marlon have that house, right? I want him to have that house. I want me to have my house. And that's why it should be. But that's not how humans are wired. That's not what evolution has taught us. That's not what how society has taught us. I don't care where you go, anywhere, even some of the better countries in Europe that have a strong socialist underpinning. More often than not, they can do that because they're homogenous. They're all white, right? There's a few flecks of other people, but let them people start getting to be too many of them, like what happened in the UK, in London, or England is a better way to put it. They were fine with having immigrants. Where Brexit became a thing was when they got all them immigrants. When all these places you captured around the globe made citizens of the UK started coming. Right, I was good with 10 of y'all, but y'all at 1,000.
But here's the deal, and let me answer this. But does Marlon have more status, and by what definition? Here's the thing, Susan.
Hey, I haven't heard her in so long.
Sick of this crap too. I understand. I understand. Yes, I understand.
She ain't talking to you.
Yes, I get it. Here is the deal, and this is going to sound so flat, and it's not. I'm not trying to be me when I say this. But does Marlon have more status, and by what definition? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because what you're saying is you're not saying status. And I'm not putting words in your mouth. Anybody want to correct me? Fine. I get it. I'm not always right. Just 99.9%. But I'm not always right. But the status that I represent is the status that I want to represent. Has nothing to do with how much food I get. Doesn't matter how much a house that I get, how many rooms I have in my house, how much land that is on, how much money is in my bank account. My status is depicted on, for certain people in the United States, and we'll throw Europe in there, my status is depicted on how much I want to show you how rich I am. Well,
to what she was hitting on is in my model. When I say that you have a bigger house than me, does that give you more status? And what I would say is it depends. So it depends on the model of the society we're running in. Because in one respect, yes, Marlon would have more status because he has more children. And in this hypothetical, the nation looks at its children as investments into its future. So up into an extent, right? Like maybe, because see, this is where you got to put a governing structure in. See, this is where things starts really spinning and changing, right? Because I'm going to give you a bigger house because you have a bigger family, right? To each according to their need. But human nature, Marlon might decide, I don't want to have a small house, so I need to have a larger family. So now he's actually extracting resources from the community in a selfish way. Because instead of having 4 kids, Marlon decided to have 7 kids, right? Because that would mean that the community has to give him a bigger house. Then the community has to give him more cars. The community has to give him more food, right? because the community is going to give them all these things, because it says for each of these children, they have the opportunity to also contribute in this thing, so we can do this for more people. That's the egalitarian positive mindset of it. But because Marlon decided to be selfish and have the bigger family for the wrong reasons, right? He didn't center the community, he centered himself. Now the system begins to break because trust begins to erode, because Anna has 3 children, and Anna's looking at it saying, wait a minute, because he decided to be, in a manner of terms, reckless and have all these kids, I have to work harder to contribute into this pot because I have less people to do it with. So does that mean I need to have more children? Or what if I don't have any children? What's my investment into this thing? So at a certain point, you force people to have to look at themselves and become selfish. Like you literally force good people to become selfish because at some point the system gets broken. So how do we address that? We have to put a governing structure in, right? So now we got to put communism in there, or we got to put democracy in there, right? Don't mix that with socialism and capitalism because those are economic models. You got to put communism, or you got to put, democracy in there. And we start fiddling with things. Now that you're fiddling with things, you end up with choosing the winners and choosing losers. And it continues to go.
And I would even say this, and this is just my thought, that status is also right or wrong, not gonna fight with you. I'm talking to the other people, not my audience, but the other people. Y'all get it. Status is depicted on exactly what you want your status to be. Take the model of what Thea's just said. I have 5 kids, household of 7. So that at very least, if I was being a nice status, that's at least 6 rooms. 6. Me and my wife, 5 kids. Everybody got their own bedroom. That's a status. Let me think. Well, I think it's totally unfair that there's not a playroom. My household just went to 7 rooms. Well, I think it's totally unfair that my kids doesn't have a big backyard that they can all run in. There's land. Well, I think it's totally unfair that all my kids have to share a pool with the whole community. We should have our own pool in the backyard. Now there's a pool. Well, I just feel like we should, I have 5 kids. I think the educational system should be way better than what your public school is doing. Now, I got private school.
It all gets out of hand.
On and on and on.
And that was
status that's built off of what you really want.
And not to pick at old wounds, but this is what I was getting at when I was talking about how the communal system is a great idea, but it always will fail in the long run. The communal system is great while small. As it grows and more personalities are in it and more interests come in and one family gets bigger than another family or vice versa and things like that, just the natural evolution of people being together, the communal system will start to shake, and then it will fracture, and then it will break every single time, because that's how we came from individual nomads to hunter-gatherer communities to small communes to little towns to cities to states. Like, that's how we got here, right? It's like people sometimes think we can go back and pick the ideal point in time. You can do that. You can do that for a little while. It'll work for you. Your grandchildren will not be in the same environment that you were in. And that's where people oftentimes, like, what our ideals are conflicts with what reality demands. And we want to try to, through force of will, change reality. And it's just not how it goes. Like, it's not me being negative or pessimist. It's literally looking at what humans have done, right, around the globe.
My neighbors are, I'm very biased. My neighbors are trying to bully me into their idea of status right now because
you're the one that's doing
what do you think pull yourself up by the bootstraps mean? It basically is saying
that's weird.
It basically was a freaking lie all the time. Because there are very few and far between self-made millionaires or self-made billionaires. It's few and far between. I'm not saying it has never happened. I'm not. But it's so few and far between. Trump himself said, I'm a self-made millionaire. Bruh, your dad was a millionaire. I'm sorry. You gonna go ahead and forget about that loan that he get. Okay, cool.
And it was only a loan so you could avoid paying taxes.
Yep. So okay, cool. Know this, it was agriculture that effed everything up.
in a way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, everybody, let's move on. Mafia video of the week. All right, I'm going to tell you right now, this ain't my fault. You can blame it on me because you was the one who agreed to it and everything else. This video came from Tracy Carson Media LLC.
Oh, he's just going to drop her whole name.
She was the one that sent it to me and threatened to never watch the show again unless I put it on. So I decided to put it on because that's what happened and everything else.
So Marlon responds to threats.
Whole government name. That's just no, officer. It wasn't me. It was Paul Smith, age 32. His birthday is
whatever. Tracy Carson. This is Tracy Carson's fault. This is a duet by Madeline James.
I'm scared already.
And Lara Trump.
You give your life just to save another life. No, this can't be your job. You gotta have it in you. You're risking yours for someone you don't even know. This can't be a talent, must be a gift. You're going through the fire and the flames getting higher. You're my hero, you're my hero. You're climbing up the ladder and the screams getting louder. You're my hero, you're my hero. Without your bravery, we're all out of luck. No, this can't be denied. You gotta be special. It takes a lot to put you last and everybody first. This can't be for likes. With your heart they can make gold. Even if yours is compromised, we're both trapped under these rubble skies. It's your will, don't ever let go of a life. You're going through the fire and the flame.
Thank you. You know what? You're not allowed to attack these videos because they shroud it in public service. But here's the thing. Anytime a conservative or any of these weird independent people who are like, I don't know what they're about, but especially these conservatives want to point me towards the veterans and the police officers and the firefighters, my question for them is, what policies has your elected officials presented to help these people? Because I can point to what they've done to hurt them. Because every time you cut taxes, that's money that didn't go to the firefighters, that's money that didn't go to the police, and that's money that didn't go to any of these veterans. When you tried to block the VA bill that helped bring them forward at least into the 2000s, that hurt veterans, right? Your policies don't back up your rhetoric, your aspirational garbage. So that just annoys me. That always annoys me, because people be like, well, you know, we should stop sending money to all these other countries waging war. We should use that money right here to take care of our veterans. Okay. What bills have your elected officials put forward to do exactly what you just said? And what consequences have you tried to put towards them for not doing it? When's the last time you withheld your vote from the Republican Party because they didn't help with these things? When the last time Mitch McConnell put a bill on the floor to make sure that these things are taken care of? Man, take your fake patriotism and choke on it, right? Now, that's that part. The song. Not my style of music. Not my style of music. It was driving me nuts. Wow. How do you... Never mind. Not my style of music. And then the last thing, and I'm wrong for this. I'm wrong for this. And my allies out there, y'all probably gonna be mad at me, because it's not proper. I'm telling you now, it's not proper. And I'm doing it anyway. It's got to be that one had to be, I don't know what none of them look like. Okay, so I can't tell Lara Trump against the other one. I can't tell who's who. But the one that looked like she need a sandwich, that one, she looks like what gender reaffirming surgery looks like when it's done very well. I'm just saying, it's a high quality job. Her nose was done. Everything about this young lady was done. Like, who are you, ma'am? Ma'am. But anyway, great imagery. I want support for all of the firefighters, especially the firefighters, even though we look at them too. I know that's not the discussion, because you know what? There's a lot of power that a paramedic has in their hands. And if they have, you know, some of the same motivations that law enforcement does, then they get to make some pretty interesting calls on who lives and who dies, and they can't really be questioned because they're acting in the moment, if you see what I'm saying. But anyway, these are heroes. They're hard workers. I want y'all to help fund these people. We need to be more creative about how we fund law enforcement. I'm not one of them people who say get rid of the police and all of that. No. Some people need to be locked up and put away. I'm saying we ain't doing it the right way. So let's actually go into that more fulsome. And now I've been all over the world and covered all kinds of randomness, and I'm done. Sorry, my allies. Please forgive me, even if it takes a while.
It's on you.
It is really lazy writing and covering up the fact that you cannot sing more than, 2-ish octaves? with tonal corrections and all that. You still missed some notes, and you slid. It was probably one of my biggest pet peeves with anyone who does this, and it's a lot in contemporary young ladies music. They slide from one note to the next, and they hope somewhere in there they're gonna land on something strong. That's why I was sending you. So I had to take my earphones off. It hurts my ears when notes are not reached on the frequency that they are.
But they rhymed higher with fire or fire with higher. You got to clap for that.
No, I don't. Laziest writing I've seen in a long time.
Higher. It's getting higher.
Okay, let me just say this real quick. Just two
Yeah,
things.
well, I did that. They should have put me in the video.
Let me just say this real quick. Not quickly. I'm gonna take my time on it. I have never ever hoped that YouTube comes back at me and tell me that this is copyrighted and the please is from the video so you can show it. Bruh, no problem. Remove it. I have absolutely no issue with you doing this. Please. You're not getting a fight. You're not getting the email from me. Remove. 5. 2. Laura was the second woman.
I thought so. I thought so.
I don't know what the hell you were saying.
She can't sing. She was talking.
I don't know what you were saying. But 3, please, from everybody who can hear my voice, please go to the comment section of this because that is the real joy of this whole thing.
I'm sure.
We got comments from Lord Trump, thank you. I've been paralyzed for 10 years. And when I heard this song, I actually stood up and walked over to my TV to turn it off. The doctor said I should consider you my hero. Many thanks to you, Laura. I was visiting my grandma at the hospital. She was in a deep coma. As soon as I started to play this track on my phone, she stood up and left the room running. All the way to a serious one. To a very serious thing. Does this include the Capitol Police?
Nope, not them. They're traitors. Remember?
But the comments was, please find this video on YouTube. Skip the video. Pause that. And just read the comments. I never laughed so freaking hard in my life. Just it was spectacular.
Yeah, I could go with never hearing that song ever.
Trust me.
Ever again.
It is never coming back. This ain't no even video of the year. No. The real question is, do you think Lord Trump will still be trying to do this singing thing after the election, or if she's just doing this to boost Trump and get some money?
It's all part of the grift.
Yep.
It's all part of the grift.
Yep.
When Trump's done, she's done. They're just taking the money while they can.
That's all this is. Oh, she please. And then that was the flattest. Woo.
Well, see, I can't even sing as well as they did, so I can't hate too much on it. You know, like they at least, like this is my theory. They hit the notes, they just couldn't hold on to them, right? Like, you know, they hit it and go right on by it. You know, So,
Mm.
And
I
my
mean,
thought is that they did hit the notes with a baseball bat, a crowbar, cinder block. They hit that note really well. They demolished that note. Oh God!
yeah, they should be brought up on charges for that one. That's rough. But their
We're
target
sorry.
market loves it.
The chit chat chatter whack chiggy chiggy baby was better singing. Yeah, it was. It was. It was.
No.
The woman can hold a note. The song was just stupid.
No.
Mm.
Everything about chit chat, whatever that was, all of it was bad. Everything, all of it.
But wait, she has
I'm
more.
sure she does. She probably on
She
tour.
does. I don't even care if she has more. She ain't coming back on this show. You get this is an encore. Enjoy it. Trust me,
Wow.
I dwell into going off the air and YouTube emailing me going, this is copyrighted and you can't show it on this show. Fucking delete it. I don't care. Knock yourself out. I hope you did. But then again, we're talking about the Trump people who probably did this shit illegally, so it'll probably be the part where they go, no, nothing wrong. The artists allow you to play this shit. Why? Why did you do this?
These are the same people that have rewritten the national anthem, that have formed a prison choir of terrorists, a terrorist prison choir, okay? And they say they have the most patriotic flag ever. And it's the American flag with the word Trump written on it. Like, you legit just did that. Ain't nothing you can tell these people.
Oh, God. Man, you want me to hold a conversation with them.
But chit chat, kind of whack, who that pop back, slip back, that's bad. No, ain't nothing good about that one.
Foxy's videos of the week. But you can tell when somebody been a mom for way too long.
That just means she knows she got a toddler.
Yeah.
He's got his style.
Sometimes you just let them cry.
He wasn't crying and she knew it.
She knew it was coming.
Let's go. All right. So this is where you do your fake cough. Go.
See how the time that was where I went like that and you went
Just,
I miss him being that small though. That's fun.
it's so funny. But I love the fact that old school parenting. You dry, you're not hungry. You just want somebody in your face at all times. Yeah, no. You good. You good. Just go on ahead and just get it out your system. But you're good. You're fine. You good.
Yeah. Parents nowadays think that that's some form of abuse, and they're probably
exactly
you're causing psychic trauma or something. I'm like,
psychological
look,
trauma from the age of 6 months. Okay.
Well, I mean, now there's some dark stuff out there, but I mean, like, you just being a good parent. You just being a good parent, right? Like, I remember mine. I this is my little dumb belief, but I believe that a child starts training their parents the moment they're born, because they start learning you the moment they're born, and you, as the parent, better start training your child the moment they're born. So my girls, all of them were different. One of them almost beat me, but My girls, it was just like, yo, like you said, Marlon, you're fed, you're clean, you're not hurt. Okay. I'm gonna sit you right next to me, and I'm gonna have the TV on, and you're gonna be screaming your little head off. And what I'm doing right now is I'm teaching you, even though I'm irritated because I can't hear the TV. I know I can't hear the TV, but I'm look like I can hear the TV. I'm gonna be staring at the TV, and you're gonna sit here next to me screaming until you realize, wait a minute, this ain't working. And it worked with all of them. It finally got there, but like I said, one of them, that eldest one, she about beat me. Because I remember I showed up at my then wife's job, y'all. I showed up at her job. So I can't do it. I can't. She won't stop.
It always remind me. I don't think I'll ever forget this moment because I was so like, and I get it now. I just didn't get it then. I remember taking my youngest daughter. This was way before Foxy, way before the other kids. It was just me and her. And she was like 3 or 4 years old or whatever it was. She wasn't in school. And we went to a record store. Y'all remember those record stores? I went to a record store and I was looking through some records.
Hello. Okay. Sorry, y'all.
Hello. So
thank you, Sati.
Sashi said hello.
Yeah, Sati was nice. Anna was nice. Your face was like,
I said hello.
And your face said,
oh, I didn't mean my face to look like that. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I make faces all the time.
Me and her went to a record store. I was going to buy something for someone. I don't know what it was. But I told my youngest daughter, here, sit on these steps. I'll be right back. And of course, it was not that far. I have visual sight of her and everything else. I just know at that age, she don't like walking a lot. So just sit down. I'll be right back. And she sat there and she didn't say a word. She didn't move. And I'll never forget the perplexity of the salesperson. Like, you told her to sit down and she didn't move? That is amazing. How did you do that? And I went, because I told her to. Not understanding the question. I told her to do something and she did it. I'm not understanding. It wasn't until I got older when I went, oh no, there are parents out there, sit right here and zoom off. I just didn't understand it because it's like, oh, because I'm in charge. I told her to do something and she does it. It was that simple. Like, so I did it from the beginning, like, you're coughing, cover your mouth. No, it's not cute as a kid. You're sneezing, cover your mouth.
I don't know if it's still the thing, but I know when I was, raising young children, and I've been told that this is pretty common. I hope it's faded away by now, but it's only been, 20 years? So I don't know. Oftentimes, people from other cultures, not every culture, but some other cultures, usually it's just white folks, but they're kind of I don't want to say amazed. It's not amazed. It's intrigued by like some of the discipline that like our children will follow. And now this all has layers and levels to it. So let's just be real, right? Because if you slide far enough down that socioeconomic ladder, I don't care what color you are. There's certain behaviors that kind of sit there, and there's behaviors that sit here, and like there's different things, right? And we all start blending together in certain ways. But it's not uncommon for what you just described, Marlon. Right?
Mhm.
And I remember, I think I told y'all this story. I was at lunch with my friend and his young child and my young child at the time, and we were at Cracker Barrel, and lady just came over out the blue, and she was just like, I was so amazed at how well our children were behaving, and to me and my friend were like, they better. I mean, this is how this they just being kids. They just doing what they're supposed to do. But she was so touched by it. She was so intrigued by it that she paid for all of our food. Like it was just, she was just that impressed, I guess is a good word to put it. But it takes me back to where someone had told me before, it's not a right or a wrong thing. First of all, let me go ahead and phrase this. I'm not saying that one group is doing it better than another. That's not what I'm saying. Even though I do have a problem with free range parenting. I don't like that. But what the way it was explained is like, because we live different realities, right? Yeah, Tracy, I was at Cracker Barrel. I've only been maybe 5-6 times in my life, but yeah. But anyway, we live different. We live in a different reality. We live in the same existence, but we live completely different realities in America because of the social hierarchy that we're assigned to, that we function. So yeah, the analogy was used like you see a black woman on the bus with her small child, and people will sometimes say, "Wow, look at how well behaved that child is. Child is quiet, sitting right next to his parent, not disruptive, reading a book or just fiddling on something or something, right? But not in any way drawing any attention to itself or doing anything." And they'll say, "Wow, that child is so well behaved." And then you'll look and it'll be another mother, and she's got her little white child with her. And he's swinging on the little bar on the bus. You know, the bus usually has like a little bar and a thing. So swinging on the bar and maybe running back and forth on the bus and things like that. And you would be tempted, perhaps, to say that this child is not well behaved. But that's not the case. What is the situation is one child has been taught, challenge your environment, explore, right? You're in a safe space. So as long as you're not harming anybody or causing any issues, challenge your environment. And the other child is stay quiet, stay calm. You don't want to disrupt anyone because the attention can cause you harm. And we do teach our children that. We teach our children, be cool, right? Don't draw attention to yourself because I can't protect you from some things, right? Stay quiet, stay small. And that's just kind of how we're taught to navigate throughout life. And you'll see that in the professional environment a lot of times because a lot of and if I promise you guys, watch some of I don't know what just happened.
What happened?
Oh, I don't know. Everybody left me. Okay.
I'm right here. Sorry. Anna's earbuds went out, so she can't hear nobody.
Oh.
So,
okay.
She said she'll restart and everything else. But because and again, you know, I don't work in absolute, so I don't want to hear nobody go, "That's not my family." Great. That's why I don't work in absolute, because I don't feel like going through that, and I'm not. Because it's Black communities, we know what the outcome would be if we were the swinging off bars and running around and running up and down the hallway and everything else. And I'm not pushing back on what you're saying, Theas, but and exploring. like is not going to be the same for a black child compared to a white child.
Correct.
And it's not even going to be looked at the same.
Correct.
In both ways. That child is exploring. That child is quiet. Reverse the races. That child, that the white child that we talked about, is very disciplined. He has discipline. He's very polite.
He's refined. Yeah.
The black child,
It's unruly.
what did you expect?
Yep.
What did you expect? Of course, he's wild and acting crazy and acting salvage and everything else. We, as a parent, knows that.
Because in America, and this is still the case, and it will probably always be the case, because
It's always going to be the case.
that's just because there's a big power dynamic to this. What I'm about to say. So, first of all, in America, to be white, to be European American, is to be normative. Because, one, you're the dominant culture. Two, you're the largest population group. So you dictate a lot of how things flow.
And remember one thing. You also is the group who defines what narrative is.
Correct. Because you're the bigger group. You're the dominant culture, right? And you have, and one of the perks of that is you also have power over economics, power over law enforcement, power over a lot of social levers. So to be white in America, to be European American in America, is to be an individual. Is if you are doing well, it's because you were expected to. If you're not doing well, then you're the exception, right?
Right.
So if you hear what I'm saying, doing good, supposed to, expected. Not doing good, exception. Something's wrong with you. Still an individual, right? Flip it to be a minority, almost any minority. If you're doing well, you're an exception. If you're doing bad, that's expected, right? So to be a minority in America is to be always a representative of your group.
Let me jump in real quick. So let's take a statement that we've heard damn near all our whole lives. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. If the minority is not doing well by white European definition, he did not pull himself up by the bootstraps.
Right. He didn't leverage his resources properly.
Yes. And if you do see a minority who, by your definition, as a white European person, doing well, now you see what we mean by pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
See,
That's
did it.
what that person did. You have no excuse for why you can't not be like that minority, because he did what we have been telling America, the minorities, because we are the elders of this country. We are the betters.
Well,
We know better. So
right.
You did, she did, he did, they did what we have been telling you to do all this time.
But
so it is still not our fault that you did not do, by our definition, tell you what to do.
Well, I mean, it's all a matter of exceptions, right? It's either you're going to benefit from the exception or be punished by the exception, right? So if you are an exception to, like, okay, you're a white male and you're not doing well, you are treated as an exception. Okay, you failed. Okay, so that's how you're treated. They're focused on the exception. Now, on the minority side, it's also focused on the exception, but it's on the inverse, right? Now, you succeeded. Now, you succeeded as an exception, but we're going to pretend that that exception is available to everyone.
Right.
Right. And it's horrible, but that's what happens, dominant versus non-dominant groups. Right. In this particular case in America, it's white and black, right? Or white and other. But you go to a different structure, it could flip. Not truly flip, because I don't know anywhere where white people are really at the bottom of anything, except for when they're in a white structure, and then they start breaking down into other groups, right? Like you're Irish versus you're Italian versus, right? But yeah, but in America, that's kind of what you deal with. And part of the reason things are really spinning right now is that they're really looking at not being able to truly identify what white is, even though white is very flexible. White will redefine itself. Don't worry, it will. But right now we're doing a traditional identity of what white is. So they're in danger of becoming, by numbers, a minority. They don't know what to do with that. And because they don't know what to do with that, and then because it doesn't feel good, they latch on to someone like a Trump, right? The white men are really acting up right now. And they're really attaching themselves to Trump because not only are they facing the racial minority flip, but they're losing so much of their privilege so fast that they don't know what to do. And they're not alone. That's the funny thing. Like, white men are catching it the worst right now as far as losing privilege. Now, they still got all the money. They still got all the power. But less of them are having it as we continue to move forward. And they don't know what to do with that, right? The easy street got hard. But like I said, they're not alone. Because I look at black men and how some of us are acting. Now that black women are no longer being held back by us the way we used to, right? Because let's not pretend like we didn't enforce our patriarchy on our own women. Okay. Yeah. So now what used to be the leverage point, white men, black men, all men in America, the leverage point was I make the money. That's the mistake. That's a mistake men made. I make the money. So I call the shots. You never should have done that. Never should have done that. You call the shots because you're the better leader. You call the shots because you're the one who's willing to put it all on the line for her and your children. That's why you call the shots. And if you did that, then she would probably still be able to make more money than you, respect you, and you would still be the head of the house. But you didn't do it that way. We didn't do it that way, right? What we did was I make the most money, so I have more voice, and that's how we rolled. Okay, well, guess what? Women, black women, white women, all the women are getting higher degrees. They're getting higher positions because the companies can pay them less than they would have to pay you. So women are getting the authority and they're getting the paper. And they're pushing back and they're saying, I don't need to be married to you to define myself. I don't need to have 5 kids to make you happy. I don't need to listen to you because you make 100,000. I make 100,000 too. And so all this turmoil is happening right now because the world, or I'm sorry, not the world, our country is readjusting. And we're going to see how it turns out. But it's just wild to me when I watch people and I watch how the different groups are really functioning. And, you know, it's so easy to say what white people are doing, but they're easy to see.
Yes.
Because they have so much visibility. But all of us are doing the same thing. We're just doing it within our realm of authority. And you know, but anyway, sorry, Marlon.
I agree with everything you said. Let's go ahead and move on to the next video. Y'all Instagram addicts.
Oh my gosh. Declan, you gotta see this. Oh, that's right. 911, 911.
Man, the only thing on my Instagram reels, because I'm only on Facebook, and it gives me those reels, right? For some reason I'm flooded. I don't know why. I'm flooded with beautiful Black women from around the world. That's always on my reels. And dogs. A lot of dogs. And some home improvement stuff. I don't know why this is happening. It's a mystery.
No, it's not.
Mystery.
Whatever. Okay. All right, last video of the night. Anna did try to come on, but now
Hey, what did Susan say?
acting bad. Her internet is acting up. So thank you, Anna, for being on the show. I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Hey,
Marlon, what did Susan say?
Oh, Susan said, I'm still pragmatic idealist. Nobody will ever pry that out.
I'm with you, Susan.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I agree. Last video of the night. It's just a cute video. I'm sorry. When a dog tells you a secret.
The dog is like, yeah, I know, girl, yes.
Bro. That's what it looked like. That's the only thing I came up with when the dog put his paw with it. Bro, I'm telling you.
I really wish I had a dog.
I'm about to erase the wrong one. That, ladies, that is the end of the show. Theus, tell everybody where they can find you.
Hey, check me out at ourunitedcore.com for our social outreach that we do. Really would appreciate all of that good things. And then complexsimpleman.com, you can check out some of my content that I've done over the years. Don't look for nothing new because I haven't done anything in the last month. I might have to kick something at you, Marlon, to make myself record. But here's why I haven't presented this to you. Because I was thinking about presenting. I'll go say right here. I say it right here. I was going to present something to you where I would, do like a show on your channel instead of wasting all this time playing on a channel that I ain't really building and doing nothing with, right? But then I thought about it. Y'all so mean to me about how when I record. So I don't want to even present it because then now I have my little thing and I put out there, what if Theus ran for Congress? Let's say I did that one. And then you'd be like, man, it's so boring. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't even want to do it no more. Because y'all mean. But I plan on putting some more in Complex Simple Man, so I'll start doing what if Theus ran for Congress or some variation thereof. And I'm going to start reading Trump statements.
Okay, I'll make this deal with you. With your permission. Okay? I don't know if it's going to motivate you or not. I don't know. But I'll present this to you. For every video that you make on your channel, I will feature it on this channel. Every last one of them. I come on. Literally, when did I ever lie to you? Seriously.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying y'all said I'm boring.
That's beyond the point. My point is I will feature every video that you make on this channel from this point on. Starting from your next video.
Right. New stuff.
Let's go back.
And pull one of the hundreds of videos that I got sitting out there somewhere.
So, and of course, please do not forget to go to BoreliaEtc.com. That's Anna Hart's website. And that is also her YouTube channel. Please go ahead and check her out. Again, learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. Susan is coming in. I really care deeply for all of you. Thank you, Susan.
Care for you deeply as well.
I appreciate you.
You are a gem.
Thank you. I want to hear Theus read Trump transcript word for word. You got to, Theus. You can.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this. What I'm gonna do, because I'm like, what he just did at this last little speech was redunculous, and he's been doing it for years.
Yes, I've literally told you we have fought over Gene on Theus. Oh Lord, you know it's time to go. We have fought on this channel about Trump being smart. Yes. Your argument is he is smart because he would not have been able to achieve the stuff that he have achieved. My thought is that is not smart. That is a skill. That to me is the equivalent of Herschel Walker, a very great-ish football player. That was a skill. Have that dude talk to you on an intellectual basis, and it's nope, I'm going home. I'm not going to talk to you. That's my deal. Trump is very skilled in everything that he's done, because we're talking about a person who's done it damn near all his life. But if you was to literally sit there and listen to him talk off the cuff, not teleprompter and all this.
He's worse on the teleprompter.
Oh my God! It's like, what the fuck did he just say? I'm not even understanding what he just said.
But here's my contention about the smart thing. Okay, so Herschel Walker, great example. He is smart when it comes to football. I bet Herschel Walker could explain football and different strategies and play coverages and even the psychology of the game. I bet he could break it down so well, so smooth, and he could teach many people how to be great at football and all of that, because he is smart in that area. Yeah. Skilled, yes, but that is a form of intelligence. So he's smart, right? It's not like he can just run the ball real good, right? Because I'm big and strong. He understands what hole to run down. He knows what the coverage looks like. That's smart. Trump can teach people how to manage the media, how to manage personalities. He's smart in that respect. Now, do I want him telling me how to do anything else? No. Right? But I mean, hey, there are those who would say that I'm smart, but only in the realm of the things that I'm well versed in. Right? I don't tell me to work on your car. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, everybody. I literally have no idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow. If I'm going to be lazy about it, we'll probably just wind up talking about yet another school shooting, this time in Georgia.
Wind to Georgia, 20 minutes from me.
20 minutes from Thea, so it'll probably be on that subject unless we come up with something else. Trump is a national manipulator. Yeah. Yes, he is. He is. But what I said about intellectually, Trump went to college. Never said he went to class.
He got the paper. He got the piece of paper.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're LGBTQ until you come out.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. Thank you so much for the internet actually holding up to the point where I have never got to worry about, Marlon, we can't hear what the hell you just said. You just went in and out. Oh, wait, we just crashed. I appreciate Thea's. I appreciate Anna. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
Yo, hey, isn't that Jeff Duncan dude? Doesn't he belong to you? No, wait. Who's the guy the lieutenant governor in the news right now.
Oh, yep.